Thank you so much, Ambassador, for taking the time to speak to iRadio, ITV. Let's start with the introduction. Briefly tell us who you are.
Thank you so much. My name is Markos Tekle Rike. Currently, I'm the Deputy Head of Mission in the Ethiopian Embassy here in Juba. So I served as Ambassador of Ethiopia to Japan for 5 years, between 2011 to 2016, and then I was also ambassador in Cairo, Ethiopian ambassador to Egypt for roughly a year and a half, and then before that I was also State Minister for Foreign Affairs in Ethiopia. Totally I served 11 years in the
Diplomacy.
service and another 9 years in academia.
Wow. That's
So
amazing.
I'm academics by background with PhD in political science and international relations, and now also serving as a diplomat.
Great. Thank you so much. Today you've been meeting with the business communities of Ethiopia here in Juba. Can you tell us briefly about the meeting? What's it all about?
It's all about to support Ethiopian business community here in South Sudan, and specifically in Juba. The main objective is, one is to advise Ethiopian community in Juba to engage in more sound, legal, and the business that could benefit both the South Sudanese here in local, and also that connects the South Sudanese business with Ethiopia, so that both Ethiopia and South Sudan should be beneficiary. Therefore, main objective is to advise them, to network them each other, and to support and provide them some important information and details about the South Sudanese business laws and rules.
Now, somebody may wonder what kind of business is the Ethiopians doing here in Juba or here in South Sudan?
Ethiopians, by default, engage mainly in service sector here in Juba. Service sector, hotels and PT businesses like own shops and other businesses. Therefore, this current meeting is one is basically because now South Sudan is changing and a lot of things are changing and developing as well. Some of the businesses are saturating, like hotel business. So we want Ethiopians to involve or to do more, especially in the productive sector, investing in the productive industries and production in all an agribusiness, which can add values, create more jobs, and also create more values to the people here, and also for themselves.
You just mentioned something very important about creating jobs, and one of the issues or concern here in the country is, majority of the community of the people here are youth. What do you think can be done to engage more young people in some of these private sectors that are being offered by Ethiopians?
So it is like not one way or one straight jacket for everything. There are two ways. One way, we are now encouraging Ethiopians to come with some skill development schemes because South Sudanese need to also have more skills. Therefore, we will work on with counterparties supporting Ethiopians who are going to invest in education and training, basically. The other is just for Ethiopians if they invest on production, especially on industries, so that when they come with industries, they have to also train and engage the South Sudanese. Therefore, it's step by step that could happen, because it's one of many, of course, investors who try to involve in South Sudan. Those who are planning to come from Ethiopia too. They say that there are no skilled labor here in South Sudan.
They mean, are they referring to South Sudanese workers?
Yes, South Sudanese. Therefore, if that's the case, so there must be more training institutes as well in South Sudan, so that more skilled South Sudanese labor go to the market.
Are you referring, do you mean things like vocational trainings?
depend on that as well. In health, and because now some Ethiopians want to invest in a hospital or clinics, specialized clinics, so they need more nurses, more professionals. If you also want to organize, like establish laser industry here, for example, you need someone who is skilled. Therefore, we are advising them to involve in not only like a specific one, rather on multiple. So some should involve in education and training, some in health, involved in training and service provision. So others also to try on and investing on industry so that it can create more jobs.
Okay, you talked about Ethiopians should engage in productive activities. And then during the opening of today's meeting, the mayor of Juba city raised a concern, and then he was saying that, this issue of hotels, placing hotels in residential areas that are being owned by many Ethiopians, so they need to, change this into apartments. Now, as the deputy head of the mission, what's your say about this comment that was made by the mayor?
So we will look into it, how those kind of activities, but it's also the city council and the city, when they provide license, they there are certain procedures when providing licenses. But to us, we will look into it, whether because there are some of the mix between Ethiopia and Eritreans. Therefore, we will see how many Ethiopians, because we basically encourage Ethiopians to abide by the law
of South Sudan.
Regulation of South Sudan, because South Sudan is our host, and this is our second home, because we have 1,600 kilometer border we share people with South Sudan. Therefore, we advise them always to work here, to do business here, like this is their home. Of course, this is their home, because we have so deep historical tie with South Sudan. So we are advising them, and we will look into those concerns by the mayor, and we will actually more cooperate with the rules and regulations of the government so that we can advise our citizens to abide by law.
Okay, before we conclude our interview, what can South Sudan learn from Ethiopia in terms of business? I know, in terms of independence, you are advanced in many ways. So what can South Sudan do in order to improve its economy?
Basically, South Sudan should encourage productive sector. Those foreign investors investing in the industries, because South Sudan must now produce consumer goods here in South Sudan than importing. That's one important. Second one is infrastructure. Currently, the transition government is doing a lot of infrastructure, especially road infrastructure. That's very important. The third is there must be incentives and supports for those foreign investors who really want and practically, committed to produce here locally in South Sudan. That is another important thing. The other one is South Sudan has big, huge potential, natural resources, and especially agriculture. Therefore, encouraging agriculture and agribusiness, agri-investment, which can hire so many people, would be an advantage for the South Sudan to learn. And then Ethiopia could be also a big market for agricultural products as well.
But is there any road? How far with the project of connecting South Sudan with Ethiopia in terms of road, even electricity or energy?
I think the agreement has been done, has been signed for both road and electricity. The road is now, the contractor already awarded the tender, and we're hoping that it will be started soon from border, because we built the road until the border.
From Gambera to Upper Nile?
Pagak Faluj is one of the priority roads now. The second one will connect with the south, with eastern Equatoria, will come next. So we'll have totally around 5 entry points to connect with South Sudan in the future, but the first one to be started soon, and the other one will be in a few years' time, if not a few months.
What of the energy, the electricity part of it?
The agreement already met or done, negotiations are underway. So still Ethiopia has big, electricity substation in Gambela, So from there also, connecting is easier from Ethiopian side, but need to construct it side by side with roads. So transmission lines to be constructed.
So meaning electricity is also going to follow the same road that you are going to connect
that
to.
That's how it started, yes, and it will connect with South Sudan grid line system.
Great. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak to ITV.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure.